Jarron Rima, welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Hello.
Did I have some icebreaker questions for you?
Cool.
If you only have one day to live, how will you spend it?
Well, probably eating the whole day. I'd eat from every part of Asia. That's what I'd.
Where will you start?
Oh, I'd smash Thai food in the morning. No, I lied. I'd do Korean stew in the morning for breakfast, and then I'd have Thai for lunch. Probably some adobo. Yum.
Ooh, what's going
And
to be the last one?
the last one, probably something really unhealthy like fried chicken or yeah.
Korean fried chicken?
No, I honestly, the different fried chickens from all over the place, like the Filipino ones, the Vietnamese, they're all different, but I'll eat until I'm dying. Well, I've only got one day left, so might as well.
Would you spend it on your own or with family?
If the food was unlimited, I'd spend it with my family. If it wasn't, I'd do it by myself.
It would be unlimited so you can spend it with your family.
Yeah, no, I would. I spend it with family.
What's your favorite Filipino food?
This is a tough one. I'm a huge fan of longanisa.
Ooh, I have two frozen ones in the fridge.
Why are they still
And
frozen?
tocino.
Dang.
You know tocino?
No, what's
Like a
that?
sweet pork. It's like longanisa, and you have it with garlic fried rice eggs.
Yum. That sounds like breakfast.
Jarron Rima, please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Jarron Rima. I live in Sydney, but I was born and raised in New Zealand, and I moved here when I was 15. Um, I enjoy long walks on the beach. I'm joking, I don't. I I love music, I love church, and I love my family. And what else do you want to know?
Why did you move?
When?
Why?
Why? The short, real answer is my mum found a job here, and then we just moved. Like it was the most spontaneous thing we've done, to be honest, as a family. And I think within a month of mum finding a job, our whole family was living in Australia.
And how big is the family?
So I have one brother and four sisters, and one of my sisters has a daughter. So, but she's old enough to be a sibling. So, five sisters, kind of.
How did you become a worship leader at church?
I don't know. One day they just asked me. No, I'm joking. I think I just kept showing up, and like I've always wanted to sing. I love singing, being in an islander family, and yeah, I just made myself available. I just kept showing up, was being consistent. So I think that just led me to the right places, being in church. And then one day they asked if I wanted to lead in our young adults ministry, and I was like, okay, it's a bit scary, but okay. And ever since then,
Were you excited?
yeah, excited, probably nervous too, but definitely excited.
Do you remember the first time you went on that platform?
Yeah, no, not really. It was a blur. Like I remember the lead up to it, but I remember nothing about being up there the first time. It's like daunting.
How would you describe the feeling of singing for Jesus from the bleachers compare on the platform?
I think now I don't see the difference, and I don't feel any different singing like with the congregation or on the platform. But I know like before I always thought there was a difference, but I think I've just learned to and realize that there's not. Like worship is worship, and when you sing for Jesus, like it actually doesn't matter where you do it or who you do it in front of. Like it's should all be the same.
Speaking of worship, what is worship for you?
I think worship for me is giving my everything for God or to God because He gave me everything. So it's just like my response, my reply, my natural response because of all the stuff that He's done for me and all the stuff that I'm thankful for. So it's just, yeah, the way I live my life and everything, every part of me, just, yeah, for God.
I think there's a lot of people think that worshiping only happens in church. How can people or you, how do you worship God outside church?
I think a lot of it comes down to like the way I just approach things and the way I speak to people. And it's less about, no, it's just in every situation and every circumstance I find myself in, I think, and I'm intentional with how do I give all the glory back to God, or how do I like make the situation like bring glory to his name rather than just like a mundane moment. Like I could be making coffee, but how can I turn this moment into something where I can praise God or where I can glorify God? And same with like people. Like how can I love people in a way like in an everyday situation? I could be at the supermarket just going through my going through the checkout or something and just expressing the same kind of care and love toward people that God's shown me. And I think worship like encompasses your whole life and a whole life laid in like service for people and for God. So yeah.
I think it was just later in my life I realized what real worship is. Because I also grew up from a Christian family since I was like a baby. I was the first baby in church. I think I was 7 when I gave my life to Jesus. I know that's like super young,
Yeah.
but then I did it again when I went to Hillsong. That was almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I think both my parents also work in the ministry. And I remember they're not making a lot of money working in the ministry. And my mom told me, because we're not really working just for the money, we're working for God, for his kingdom. And then growing up, I always had that in my mind. And then I went to attended different churches, listen to different pastors, and what I learned was worshiping is not just working in the ministry.
Yeah.
You can be making coffee, you can become an accountant or a tradesman. And the way of worshiping is just being really good at what you do,
Yeah.
doing it for the people, and just honoring God, like being grateful and, like, thank you for allowing me to do this,
Yeah.
that I get to serve humanity through the gifts that you gave me.
Yeah. And I think that's like a powerful thing to like realize, especially on your own. Like I grew up in church as well. And like I just always was forced to be at church. Like I wanted to be there, but there was always like this part of you that's like, you have to be there. But when I finally discovered for myself that I could pour everything into it, like on my, like by my own choices, like it flipped so much stuff. And like my career path or like the dream was always to like sing or to worship. But my career path took me through like a trade and into construction. But realizing that I can still glorify God in that, like that was actually really powerful. And it shaped a lot of like my worship and the way I approach things now, which is cool.
So you serve and volunteer at church. What do you get out of it?
Immense satisfaction. that I just no, actually I feel so satisfied. I feel like I'm contributing to like the big picture of things, and if I can help at least one person in my life or while I'm serving, like honestly, it's worth it for me. So I just do it. Like I definitely feel really satisfied doing it.
Did you feel like, I know this is probably like a silly question, but did you feel like a rock star when you went up the stage the first time? Because everyone, like thousands of people looking at you because they don't have a choice because you're up there on the platform. They have to look at you, look at the screen.
A rock star? No, I. It's funny because as much as I wanted to sing, I never wanted to like sing in front of people. Like that stuff like freaked me out. So first time I was up there, or whenever I'm up there, like actually all the time, I feel so scared and nervous. I'm like, I don't belong here. This is not me. This is not for me. And then even when I get approached by people like off the platform, I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want this. This is like really uncomfortable. But yeah, so do I feel like a rock star? No.
You're like, what am I doing up here?
Yeah, why did they choose me? Like, that's exactly it.
I think I love that. Why did they choose me? Like, why did God choose me? I'm not qualified.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not designed. I'm a, I'm a sinner. I can't do this. But why do you choose me?
Yeah. Look, I don't think we'll ever get the answer. And I also kind of don't want to know the answer because I think I might end up taking it for granted if, I don't know.
All right, so how do you create the set list at church?
For me, I spend a lot of time in prayer and a lot of time in like with devotions, just asking God, like, what do your people want? Like, what do your people need? And sometimes, like, there's songs that will, he'll give me songs that target specific things. Like, do we need surrender or do we need like to glorify God? But most times I love to start a set list by like glorifying God. And then I'll go to a song that's like really reflective of either like a certain part of God's character or a certain part of his nature. And then I love ending like a set with something that points straight back to God and gives all the glory back to him. And like it works for me and it works for like the sets that I make. And just basing the whole thing on who God is, who Jesus is. Like foolproof method.
Do you get like an outline or direction from the pastor, from the creative team, or it's just, hey, Jarron, hey team, this is, the theme. Can you please create a set list, or how does it work?
Sometimes like in special seasons, for example, Easter, like there may be a certain song that we want to sing as like a whole church or as a whole ministry. And then like we'd include it. Or sometimes like Christmas, we'd include popular Christmas songs, Christmas carols actually. And just because it reflects the season we're in. But like most times it's pretty free reign and you can do almost anything you want. And it's not super restrictive, which is really cool.
How do you personally prepare for leading worship, both spiritually and musically?
Spiritually is interesting because I feel like for me anyway, as a worship leader, I think I've got this conviction that I need to be prepared like at all times. And I think it should just be common practice actually for any worship leader that we should be ready like always. And that's not to like cast any shame on anyone for not, but at least being in the pursuit of like being in that place in your devotional time, spending as much time as you can in your prayer room, as much time as you can in the Word, and spending so much time with God. And I think it like really shows, especially when you're leading or actually when you're doing anything, like how much time you're spending like in the quiet place with God, spending time with God. But like on a practical level, I spend a lot of time just singing and I like go through YouTube videos of like vocal warm-ups or vocal exercises, anything that'll help my voice like be better at singing. Singing lessons is mad. If you can find yourself a good singing teacher, dang, do it. Because to not think about having to sing, or like, if you're worship leading and you can sing without thinking and not putting too much thought into it, like you have way more space to worship. And I think that's like amazing. So, and learning songs. Like if I know there's new songs coming out, like I'll do everything I can just to learn them before we even think about putting them on a set list. So yeah.
It's very interesting topic because I also grew up in the music ministry, and I gotta admit, sometimes I can't worship properly because I was looking at the chords.
Yeah.
I play bass, guitar, drums, and sometimes I just want to get lost and just praise. But then you gotta watch the shades,
Yeah.
the notes. Like you, as a singer at church, how do you make sure that you can actually worship while working? Because it's work, right?
Yeah.
And you're there, and you need to make sure you do good work. You don't get distracted. You don't make any mistakes. You don't forget any lyrics.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself, on point while you're on the platform?
It's funny because I've definitely been in the position where I've gotten completely distracted and forgotten the lyrics and stuff and looked like a fool. But there's so much grace for it. So I'm like, I think the best way, honestly, it's putting in the work while you're not on the platform. It's like, I think the being on the platform, being on any platform is a small like window into like your whole life. Like if you have a 20-minute worship set, that's 20 minutes out of a full week of like 24-hour days. And like there's so much stuff that goes on before and after. And if you can nail like every day and pour as much effort into like your just everyday life and your like mundane practicing, your mundane like upskilling and stuff, like the 20 minutes will be a reflection of all of that. And that's spiritually as well. So honestly, just practice, 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 practice.
There's this Instagram page that I follow. It's called Worship Fails or something.
Oh no.
Hello. I binge watching the videos there, and it's funny because it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes while
Yeah.
you're serving. Like you're human, and if God was able to use David, an adulterer, and many other Bible characters who are not perfect, away from perfection. Like I think he can forgive you if you if you forget lyrics or
Yeah.
you drop the keyboard.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. I've been on that page and that was a horrible experience. But it's like you said, there's so much grace. You're allowed to make mistakes.
Was there a time where you cannot feel the Spirit? You just can't feel the Holy Spirit, but you still have to lead.
I want to say no, but if I'm being really honest, there's definitely been a couple of times that I haven't. But like in reflection, when I look back, it's when I ask people like how things went or like like how was the sale, how was worship, and they felt the presence of God. I always question like, was I the person? Was I the one who was in the wrong? Like was it my own like mind that was stopping me from sensing God? And honestly, most times it was me. I got in the way, or it was my own perception. Like God would be moving massively, and it was just my own perception. It was the way I was approaching things. So it's kind of, yeah. So there's definitely been times where I felt like that, but it wasn't the reality at all.
Was there a time where you're just not feeling it? Like that Sunday morning you got out of bed and I'm not feeling it. Like I wish I can just cancel, but unfortunately you cannot. You cannot call in sick.
Yeah.
You just have to be there. What do you do in those situations?
There's definitely been times like that. And I think last year was, like mid last year, I was going through that as well. Like, I'd get up on a Sunday and be like, oh, like another Sunday, which is, in hindsight, is a really crappy attitude. But I think I still pushed through and did it. And someone said to me, like recently, in terms of prayer, and I use it like in the same way, like regarding worship, but prayer is one of those things where if you don't feel like doing it, you won't lose anything by doing it. And like the same with worship. Like as much as I don't want to do it, after I've worshipped, I always feel like way better, or I always feel like I received something, or if anything, God got all the glory. So I think if anyone's ever feeling like that, like just push through it, worship anyway, like turn up, give your best, give your everything. Like your best may not be 100% of like everything you've got. It might only be 20%, like that you have available that day. But if you give the whole 20% in that moment and just push through it, like you're better off like just pushing through it and giving it all.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you will never regret doing it.
Yeah.
It's like going to the gym.
Yep.
You know, putting your shoes on, going to the gym, or going for a walk. No matter how crappy you feel before doing it,
Yeah.
after that, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. And even like in it, it might feel like the worst thing you've ever done. But then at the end, you feel like a superstar.
Okay, this is a question from one of my followers. So what's the difference between Hillsong Church and a Catholic church?
The difference between, that's a big question. Well, Hillsong, we are a Pentecostal church, and I think that's a huge difference. I think even like the expression of like worship, like Hillsong's known for like its expression of worship through your band and stuff, and like even that, like is a big contrast to like the Catholic Church and like the traditional way that the Catholic Church does things. But like, I personally think there's so many more similarities between like the different denominations, the different churches, even with all the differences of like expressions and traditions. Like there's so many similarities. Like we still believe in Jesus, and we still believe in God and like the Holy Spirit. Wait, do Catholics believe that? I don't know.
Believe what?
In the Father, the Son, and the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. Yeah, see?
They do the sign of the cross.
Just needs to make sure.
I think what I love about mega church like Hillsong is whoever you are, whatever your beliefs are, you can just walk in and no one's going to ask you, what's your religion? Like, what are you doing here? It's just welcome home. You come in, you enjoy the service, you worship, and then you go back to your life.
Yeah. We're a big eclectic bunch of nobodies who would just want to get to know God and Jesus, and no labels, just come as you are, welcome home.
I might get canceled on this.
No.
Look, I grew up in a small church, like 150, maybe less. Very small congregation. And you know all the faces. You know everybody by name. And it's good because everyone's like family.
Yeah.
It's bad because everyone's family.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what's going on in your life.
Yep.
Because you write down in the prayer request, everyone knows how much you put into the gifting box.
That's privacy. There's no such thing.
Yeah, there's no anonymity. Was that not being anonymous?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I enjoy a lot going to a big church like Hillsong is I can just go there. Nobody will recognize me.
Dang.
Well, not anymore because of my channel. I go there, I see a bunch of Filipinos and like, oh, you're the guy from TikTok or Facebook. I'm like, yep, nice to meet you. And let's worship God.
You're the rock star.
Yeah. But yeah, just my experience going. Why I keep going to a big church rather than like a smaller church because I go there and I'm almost like nobody, and it's just me and God. Lights are dim, smoke machine, cool lights and awesome music. And maybe another thing is why I love going to a mega church like Hillsong is because I'm creative, I'm a musician, and I hate to say this, but my attention to detail is crazy.
Yeah.
In my home church in the Philippines, because everyone's volunteer, no one had a proper training. Maybe a few people had a proper training in the music, but they're all volunteers, people who learn from YouTube
Yeah.
or been taught on the streets and not perfect. And being a musician, I can hear when something's out of tune or those details, and I get distracted easily. I know I need to worship God, it's for Jesus, but then those things as a creative, you're like, oh, hang on a sec. That
You
didn't
can't
sound-
help it. We're human. We'll notice the little mistake.
Yeah.
Like,
And
oh, that was wrong.
I'm like, just arms in the air, and then, oh, was that was that the right lyrics there?
Yeah. Did anyone hear that? Was it just me?
Cool. Keep worshiping.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. What's your favorite worship music of all time?
Of all time? Like one song?
Yeah.
Just one song? My favorite worship song of all time is... This is a hard one.
It doesn't have to be a Hillsong music.
Oh, yeah. It probably wasn't going to be. It's probably... Oh, I lied. It is a Hillsong song. It's been my favorite for years. Wait, was I coughing to sing it? No. There's a song called Dwelling Places from Hillsong. It was when Darling Shack was still around. But it's so good.
Dwelling Places.
Yeah, Dwelling Places.
Can you hear it? Just the chorus.
It's like, lovely are your dwelling places. The chorus goes, now I'm yours and you are mine. From my heart the song will rise. I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. And my heart will follow wholly after you. Yeah,
Wow.
it's just simple. So simple.
I can imagine the old, dusty video of Hillsong. And everyone's wearing suit.
They were
Dress.
full wearing like gray suits. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But now everyone's wearing skinny jeans and black
Yeah.
suits, right?
This was back when they had brass instruments on the stage. Yeah, so long ago.
Who is your favorite worship leader of all time?
My favorite dang. Probably Cece Winans. She's amazing. Cece Winans. She's she's good. If you don't know her, look her up. She sings Worthy of It All.
Ah.
Yeah,
I know the song.
She's amazing.
Now, what's your favorite worship music from Hillsong from the last 5 years?
5 years.
The fresh ones.
Yeah, probably. Oh, there's so many. I don't know. How far back is 5 years? Does it have to be 5 years? Because I'm thinking Beautiful Name is great. And I don't know if that's 5 years, but it's recent.
Let's hear it.
What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus.
Is that Brooke?
Yeah.
Is that version?
Yeah.
Love Brooke.
Yeah.
And she's from New Zealand.
Yeah. All the best people are.
Yeah.
That sounded so...
That's actually, I can agree to that because I love Brooke. There's another singer. What's her name? She's also from New Zealand. Short girl.
She blonde?
No, was it Michelle?
Michelle?
Michelle.
Yeah.
Like tiny girl, but huge voice.
Yeah, big voice.
Like
She's like
husky.
a lion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Jad.
Jad.
And you? Now you.
Yeah, me.
I think for me, one of my most favorite is King of Kings.
Yep.
Purely because I was there. I was one of the cameramen when we
Really?
filmed the music video at the conference
Oh.
before pandemic.
Yeah, dang.
And will never forget that because I made a rookie mistake as a conference volunteer. I said yes to all shifts.
Oh, you would have been there for hours.
Yep, from opening to closing because I was so like fired up.
No, that would have been way longer than just opening to close. You would have been there after, right?
I can't even remember. I was there for
Yeah.
hours and hours.
That's dedication.
Yep. I'm like, okay, my first time, I'm going to give everything. And then I'm like, I was standing there, one camera, I can't feel my back anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, dear God, prove to me that you're real.
I did this for you.
Please heal my back. But then at the back of the backstage, this is a massage area, like volunteer therapist.
Wow.
And I was there. There was a queue. I think before me was Brooke. And I heard her cry because one of the therapists just pushed hard. And she's like, this is going to hurt so bad. But we need to do this.
Oh, no.
You'll feel better, trust me. And I heard her scream.
I would have walked away.
It was a beautiful scream, though. It was Brooke.
Oh, yeah. She sang in she screamed in melody.
Yeah, perfect pitch.
Oh.
And then I walked in. I'm like, whatever you did there, please don't do that to me.
Yeah.
I just a tiny bit of pain on my back. Just want to be able to go back on my camera and do another 8 hours.
Just 8 hours. Just 8.
But yeah, love the room at the conference. Yeah, it's just thousands of people worshiping. Yeah. And
it's so surreal, though.
Nighttime's my favorite.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy memories.
Did you have a life before you became a Christian?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How would you describe life before Jesus?
Life before Jesus was a lot. There was so much happening, and it's probably the part of my life where I felt the most lost. And you know how when you feel like you're drowning in life, that's what I felt like. But in it was a lot of fun in it, but you kind of brush the feeling aside that there's something missing, or you're kind of wandering in the dark. So, yeah. Was there a life before Jesus? Yes, there was. Was it fun? In hindsight, not really. But in it was great.
I grew up in church. Grew up in a sheltered family. You know, you got to go to church. Otherwise, you're not going to heaven. I grew up like that. You know, it was like a hardcore Christian, which I was grateful because, you know, I built the habit. Now, I go to church on Sunday, even though my family, my wife, my son cannot come with me because I got a baby, 10-month-old, you know, sleeping time and whatnot. But because I was too sheltered in church, and I was looking at the testimonies of people going up there, like I was a criminal before. I killed many people. I was a drug abuser. I did this, did that, did horrible things. And I was sitting there, I'm like, what do I share? Like, I grew up here. I don't have those stories. Like, I've got nothing to share. I'm like, what do I share? I came from a Christian family. Like, my parents love me. God loved me. Thank you for hearing my testimony. I'm like, where will I see the breakthrough? Like, that kind of testimony in my life. And then that was, you know, first 20 years in my life in the Philippines. 21, I moved here. No parents. I'm like, ooh, fresh start, fresh country. And when parents are not looking, I think we kind of tend to do stupid things. So I experienced world.
You went and experimented.
I did. Yeah. Because, you know, I was doing it to build a testimony maybe, or just to see life outside church and outside being a Christian. So I did some things that, you know, the worldly things, just to see how it's like. And I got to say, it's fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. It's great. But then it got to a point where I'm like, is that it?
Mm.
It's fun, but then you still feel empty inside.
Yeah. That's it. It's fleeting. It like doesn't last long and doesn't build into your future or anything. So yeah, fun, but at what cost?
And then I meet people who I would say people I really look up to, and then they're really good Christians, been faithful for a long time, and I can feel the difference when I'm with them versus when I'm with my worldly friends,
Yeah.
that people I usually hang out with, have fun with, versus with my connect group. I can feel the difference. Like that was fun, drinking, partying, girls, and then connect group, Bible group. You meet those people, I'm like, what do you guys have? I want to have that again.
Yeah.
Like I see your smile, your aura, the spirit. It's just, it feels good. And you get surrounded with those people. Sometimes you don't even have to talk to them. Just being in that presence. Like, I love these people.
Yeah.
I love being part of this group. And compared to the other group where you need to have alcohol, drugs, other things to make you guys happy, to make it fun. But yeah, that's
Yeah. That's like on one hand, you're looking for like external things to like fulfill something. But on the other side, it's coming from like this deep internal place and like radiating out. Like that's really cool.
well, I have some pretty cool testimony. So if someone will ask me, hey, come up on the platform, share your testimony. I'm like, okay, brace yourselves. It's gonna be an all-nighter.
Yeah, I worked hard for this one.
Yeah. I took the assignment, did it the right way, not the wrong way, it's the right way. Okay, this is a question from one of the followers. I think she also served a church, but she said, please keep my name confidential. She said, how do you tell someone if they're out of tune or not harmonizing with the team? Because she was saying, oh, she's hearing the feedback, oh, you did well, it was amazing. But she know in herself, like, I screwed up that part, or I was out of tune. How do you correct them at church?
With a smile. It's really interesting. I love feedback and I love constructive criticism. So, like for me personally, when I go and approach someone, I'll be so kind. And like it's one thing to say, you're flat, you need to work on your pitch. But it's another thing to be like, hey, like I notice like sometimes you're a bit pitchy. Like I can help you get better at that. And like for me, I think the biggest way to help like the team is to like actually help them, not just like point it out and be like, go and fix it. Like I'd love to, like I'll teach you, I'll show you, or like we can find you a teacher or something. Like we'll put in the time with you. So yeah, but they're always tricky to approach people to like give actual criticism, because some people love it and some people like really struggle with it. So finding that balance. Yeah.
I was trying to imagine myself if I'm there on the platform with you, and then I was singing with you and I wasn't harmonizing, I'm out of tune, and then you walk up to me and say, hey, I know someone who can help you. Here's a business card. He's a great shooter. You could use some help.
Give him a call right now.
But yeah, no. I guess because in serving, it's work. So you gotta be at your 100%. And I guess people need to remember you are worship leading in front of thousands of people. And among those people, some of them will surrender their life to Jesus at that moment. And if you're not feeling it, or you're not at your 100%, then you kind of letting down the team and the whole congregation. And I guess this is one thing that I also learned serving at Hillsong, because everyone just take their job like seriously. It's like professional. Like if you're serving, you gotta serve up to God's standard. And there's a different standard. There's a perfectionism that involved in it. And I loved it, because I love it when people try to correct me, well, in a nice way, of course, and creative criticism. And that's one thing I noticed, serving at Hillsong Church, is they will fix if they see something wrong, because it's for the better. It's not
Yeah.
like they're just want to hate you.
Yeah. I think that's it. And I think like we all are heading for the same thing. Like our whole goal is Jesus. Our whole goal is to like worship God and like help each other just get better, just to be better and to bring your best. And if you know someone could use a little help along the way, like let's help you. Like let's help you sing on key this time. Like let's actually create a place where it's safe to be constructive with criticism and help each other be like upskilling people. And yeah, because we're all heading for the same thing and we want to go there together. So why not?
Another question from a follower.
Ooh.
Do you still listen to secular or worldly music?
I do, but I'm very selective of what type of secular music I listen to. And sometimes I feel guilty listening to secular music, but I think a lot of the time I like still listen to worship, and I try to fill as much as my time with worship music, but I definitely still listen to secular music. Yeah, there's just some beats and stuff that the Christian industry, music industry hasn't quite tapped into yet, and I wish they did. Could you imagine like a Tyler song kind of beat, but with Christian music, Christian lyrics? It feels really wrong in my head. I'm just trying to imagine. That would be really bad.
So I had the same question when I was part of the music ministry back in the Philippines. Our worship leader, when I hop into in her car, she's got a CD of just worship music, and I asked her, "Do you still listen to the secular music, like say Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift?" And I think she said she still listened to them, but like you said, very selective.
Yeah.
Like you need to know the story background of the artist, because some of them could be singing like romantic music, but then they don't believe in God, or they're worship Satan,
Yeah.
and they just use their talent, probably try to hide the real intention with their music.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I'm really selective with it, and like there's just certain types of songs I just from the first play I'm like nah, I'm like block or like don't add this to any playlist, or even like certain artists where I'm like dang, I love your music but I don't necessarily agree with like your motivations or like the storylines in your songs. So I'm like
I have this constant battle with, I love listening to, maybe 80% of the time I listen to worship music, but then when I hit the gym, AC/DC comes on. Highway to Hell, like Master of Puppets, Guns N' Roses. And sometimes, like, do I feel guilty doing this? Or do I just like the rock music that keeps me going, maybe lift heavier weights? But I can't do this with listening to What a Beautiful Name It Is.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing deadlifts and then you're listening to like, What a Beautiful Name It Is.
Because AC/DC is automatically 20 more kilos on the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny.
So I appreciate the new Christian music where they try to make it a bit more rock, a bit more like EDM, electronic.
Yeah.
I think it's called White Album from Hillsong.
Yeah, the remix album.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's on my training playlist.
yeah,
If I
that's
try
cool.
to avoid the secular music.
It's kind of cool lately because me and one of my mates have been discovering a lot of new Christian artists coming through, and the music is like very modern and very fresh. So there's definitely stuff out there that's like great to listen to. That, man, I don't want to say it, but it's like it sounds or like as a secular kind of vibe, but it's definitely like rooted in like Christianity or like the word, which is great. So there's definitely alternatives out there. If you're ever like worried about listening to secular music, there's definitely stuff out there that could fill your playlist and stuff.
Right, what do you love the most about going to a mega church like Hillsong Church?
Okay, my actual favorite thing is that because Hillsong's so like established and there's so much like history, there's such a great foundation there. It opens up so many doors for the church to like partner like within the community or like beyond like the walls that we see. And I think it's the part of our church that a lot of people miss because we partner this Easter with like local organizations to distribute food hampers to people who need them. And it's amazing to see like a church with such a strong foundation that can facilitate such huge like aid or financial like input into the community or to be able to do programs like that help in schools. Like there's so many things, and it's actually my favorite thing about being part of a mega church is that there's such a great conduit to be the hands and feet of Jesus, to distribute the gospel, to distribute charity, and it's actually amazing.
I think for me, what I love the most about going to Hillsong Church is there is a structure and order.
Yeah,
And I've been to a lot of churches, and some people try to hide on the kind of motto of, oh, God will understand. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like, it's okay if we're a little bit unorganized. If you're late, God will understand. I hate that because, yes, He will understand, but you're kind of doing it on purpose now. Like, what if, I like going there because there's a structure, there's order. I know if I walk in, there's a proper flow. I know what to expect. And also, there's a part of it like you don't know what to expect in terms of the worship, but you know what time it's going to start, what time it's going to finish, because church is very respectful of everyone's time.
yeah,
In other churches, they go for like 2 or 3 hours, but it's meant to finish an hour and a half. But because the pastor got carried away with the message, I'm like, dude, people have life.
sounds like an islander church. Sitting there 3 hours, I'm like, wow, you're really in your word.
Yep. But for me, that's what I really love about it is the structure.
Yeah.
And everyone have their roles, their usher, and everyone just taking the volunteer role seriously.
Yeah.
Like giving their 100%, no matter if they're cleaner, usher, preacher, or the vacuum
Yeah.
people. They just do it with passion.
And it's like I said earlier, it's like, because I think for most of the volunteers that I meet, like, we all realize like we're chasing the same thing. So if we can bring our best and do whatever we can, and it's like, I hate the analogy, but I'll use it. It's like a well-oiled machine. Like, everyone finds their place and they know what they're doing. Like, they know how to do their job and they bring their best. So then you bring your best here and it helps this person bring their best here. Then that person bringing their best helps like the worship team bring their best. So they all like play together so well and helps facilitate people like you who love order and structure.
When I was in the Philippines, because Hillsong United was very big because of the tours that they do.
Yeah.
one of my dreams when I was in high school was to play with the Hillsong United. I think that's every Christian musician's dream when they were younger. And then, when I came to Australia when I was 21, I'm like, okay, where is Hillsong Church? Then realized I lived in Rudy Hill back then. It's about 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And I stepped in, and I knew as soon as I walk in, I need to start serving. I need to like play the music ministry because
Yeah.
that's where I guess my background in the Philippines. And then I'm like, okay, maybe music up on the stage. I saw the process. Like, it's not going to be that easy. And I think at that time, it's full. Like, there's no room.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, where else can I serve? I saw the cameras. I'm like, oh, I can do cameras. I did multimedia in uni, and walked into the control room. I saw the multiple screens. I'm like, felt like I'm in NASA. You have more
Yeah.
screens here than any studio I've ever been to, and you
That's
see
crazy.
different stream from different locations.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And yeah, put on the headset, grab the camera, and I love it when I'm hearing direction. Like, oh, camera 7, you're up.
Yep.
Get this shot. I'm like, oh, that's my shot on the screen. Like, I'm doing this for Jesus. Yeah, it's very surreal. Very surreal.
It is. And sometimes I forget like that's not a normal thing, like around the world, like the different churches. Like growing up in the church I grew up in and then coming to Hillsong, like it's a night and day difference. So like I need to remind myself, like often I'm like, dang, this is not normal. And I need to be very like grateful and thankful for like the church that I'm in and like never take it for granted. Like just on so many levels, let alone gear and like equipment, but like even like the stuff you learn at this place and you can apply not even just in a church setting, at work, in your family life. Like, yeah, I need to remind myself all the time, don't take it for granted. Like learn as much as I can while I'm here. Like do everything I can to be grateful for it.
I love that. Do not take it for granted because when I'm there serving, there's probably another kid in the Philippines or Mexico or Thailand
Yeah.
that wanted to be there and serve in that church. I think a few Sundays ago, a pastor, I forgot his name, prayed over JD. It's a Mexican pastor, I think.
Oh yeah. I can see his face. Can't remember his name.
And that guy, the Mexican pastor, prayed over JD.
He's probably not even Mexican.
Is he? Probably. I don't know. I think he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's Mexican for now. And he prayed over JD and said, please do not stop making music.
Yeah.
Because when I was in my bedroom in Mexico, I listened to Hillsong United, and you became my inspiration why I'm on this platform now.
Yeah.
So yeah, never take it for granted because probably millions of people wanted to serve God, but because of their situation, maybe their country won't allow Christianity.
Yeah. Yeah, even that is crazy.
What advice would you give to aspiring worship leaders?
My biggest advice is just chase Jesus, chase God with everything. I think our main desire and aspiration as Christians in general should be to pursue God, pursue His word, like dig deep, dive deep, like do everything you can, spend all your energy on finding Him, seeking Him. And that's one advice. Let me give you two for the price of one. How good. The second one is to like hone your craft. If you want to be a worship leader, like pour time and effort into that skill. Like do everything you can to be the best singer you can be. get singing lessons, like sing songs, write songs. But yeah, but the first one is like the main one. Just chase God with everything.
For aspiring worship leaders, how can they join the Hillsong worship team? Is there a process?
Things are a bit fluid right now. If you want to join, just come. Come on a Sunday. Our team, find me if you want. Oh no, will I regret saying that? Probably not. Find me, and there's definitely a process. But the first step to joining our team is just to like show up and introduce yourself to us. And yeah, I don't know if that's the answer you wanted, but
Is there like qualifications? Like you gotta, did a training, like, I don't know, did a proper training? Do you have to do audition? Like 4 chairs will turn around, press X.
I wouldn't call it an audition, but this is daunting. I did this when I first started on the team. You sing in front of like a couple of people, and then just so they can gauge like where you're at with your voice and your like skill set. All that I was so nervous when I did it. I was like really nervous. So I was nervous. But they just give you feedback. Like if you need singing lessons, they'll tell you need singing lessons, or it's really nerve-wracking, but it's just so we know like where you're at, and we can do whatever we can to help you. And if you want to be on our team, like we'll help you. We'll help you be better.
Yeah. Do you remember the song you sang?
Yes, I sang. They actually gave me the song to sing. I sang Cornerstone.
Classic.
Yeah, throwback. And that was fun, but scary.
Chorus. Sing the chorus.
Oh. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong, in the Savior's love, through the storm, He is Lord, Lord of all.
Amen. Amen. I was going to try to sing with you, but then realized I'm probably one of the Filipinos who cannot sing. That's why I grabbed the guitar and drumsticks and, God bless me here.
That's okay. You're good. You're the good-looking kind.
Thank you. Thank you. That is more than enough. When you see Jesus face to face, what would you tell him?
I don't know why I just got emotional, but I almost teared up just then. I'd say thank you. I think. I feel like I'd be speechless, and I'd only be able to say like thank you or I love you. Something simple like that. It's weird because I talk too much, and I feel like if I saw him, I'd choose like 2 words. Love you.
I have a list of questions for Jesus.
Oh, you do?
But here in this podcast, I have like 23. I probably have, I don't know, thousands. Number 1 is why.
Why?
Like to God, like, why? You didn't have to. Were you bored? Like, why?
Maybe. I sometimes wonder if God sits in heaven and looks at us and just goes,
What a bunch of losers.
like, oh, they're so silly.
What a bunch of interesting individuals. Created on my image.
Yeah. This Jarron guy, this Zach guy, look at them.
Why are you podcasting? What's all these things? Yeah. First question is everyone's question, where do you come from? Like,
Where do you come
if
from?
you're outside time and space, like if everything has been created by something, by someone, like who created you? But then he's God, so I don't know, man. If I keep thinking about this, I won't be able to sleep again tonight.
I can hear someone in my head saying, did you make the chicken or the egg first?
Yeah.
So,
But again, if interesting, because if you can answer that question, then he's not worth worshiping. Because he's outside time and the whole creation process. But dude, that's another podcast.
yeah, that's not a podcast. That's like a whole 4-year like bachelor's or doctorate study or something.
You know what I want? I mean, my goal is to have my favorite preacher of all time in this podcast,
Who?
Robert.
Just
Pastor
ask
Robert.
him.
I'm scared. He's so
Why?
intimidating.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he is, right?
Yes. Even when I just see him walking down the hallway, I'm like, don't see me. No.
But I love his way of preaching because he's so direct, because he's a teacher.
Yeah.
He just don't preach, he also teach.
Yeah.
And it's always like no fluffing around. It's just boom.
Yeah, I love it when he's like that. Just blunt, to the point. Feelings? Who cares?
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah. Like some preachers or pastors, their style is to encourage you, motivate you. But Pastor Robert will slap you with the truth, show you like this is what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why you're not getting close to the goals or the mission. But
Ask him. Just ask. What's
Yeah.
the worst that could happen? He says no.
I'll say no, and I'll try again,
Yeah.
again and again, till he get pissed off. And
Then he's like, fine.
you know what? I'll buy a new Bible. I'll find him. I'll throw a Bible at him. That's what happened, right? In this
Yes.
story. And maybe he'll remember me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's iconic.
And then in the cover, it's like Zach in Australia.
Yeah. Please jump on my podcast. All right. What else do I have here? All right. You've been to the Philippines.
Yes.
When was that?
I think 2016 or 2017. Somewhere around there.
And why did you go there?
I went for one of my good friends' wedding. She got married. Yeah, it was great. Good fun.
Whereabouts?
She got married in Palawan, and I can't remember what the place is called. All I remember is we got off the plane at Puerto Princesa, and then we drove for like 3 hours to the wedding venue.
And how do you find it?
I went with my brother. It's one of the best things. Like, we already love the Philippines because we had a lot of Filipino friends, but being there was crazy. We love the food, we love the people, the culture was great. Good, yeah.
Is it very similar to the Cook Islands where you came from?
Actually, yeah, there's a lot of some similarities, and I think a lot of values are the same, which is, I think that's probably why we get along really well with our Filipino friends. It's because we share a lot of the same values and stuff. So, yeah, in a lot of ways we're similar. And Filipinos, islanders. That's what my friends say.
I think we are.
Yeah.
Because it's the Pacific Islands.
Yeah.
Right? So we are the smaller version. The smaller version.
Yeah, we're the bigger ones.
Yeah, you guys had the bigger fish.
Yeah.
The bigger coconut.
Yeah, the bigger tower. The
Call it ube.
ube.
Yeah, apparently it's offensive if you call our ube taro.
Aren't they different?
Yeah, but the same color.
Yeah.
It's purple,
Yeah.
but it's Filipino taro. No, is that right? Filipino ube.
Ube.
And you've been to Manila as well?
Yes.
How do you find it?
It was interesting because we didn't spend much time there. I wish we did now. Like, we spent maybe max 2 days. But that was a big shock because our accommodation, to get to it, we had to drive like around the slums. And I think that's the first time me and my brother ever like saw something like that. So it was like really confronting. But yeah, Manila was fun. Manila was a lot of fun. We stayed in like the casino district. I don't know what that place is called. I can't remember.
Is it near the airport?
Yeah.
Right, I think I know what you're talking about.
Makati?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, yep.
Around there somewhere. Near the big mall.
Right. Maybe near Greenbelt.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
All I know is there was heaps of flashing lights and they just built like brand new facilities around there.
Yeah.
And it looked like
Red
Las Vegas.
red lights.
Not red lights, just bright lights.
The red light district. There's a lot of red lights in Makati. And did you have any culture shock moment
Not really culture shock, but it, everyone was like way shorter than me and my brother, and everything was built, especially in the airport, was built for shorter people. So we walked into like the toilet cubicles, and everything was like sitting at this height, like the doors and
Yep.
the cubicles. And I looked at my brother in the next store. I was like, "Hi." That was a bigger shock. But other than that, oh, and also the armed guards on like at the doors and stuff, like that was, we weren't expecting that either. So yeah,
Most security guards in the Philippines have firearms,
yeah,
from the tiny pistol ones to the big ones.
yeah. They were full standing there like this. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I better not do anything bad. Like I would never would, but still, if I drop my wallet,
Or
But-
shoplift fried chicken from Jollibee.
look, I will shoplift fried chicken from Jollibee and Chowking.
Yeah, Chowking. Yeah. It's because for reference, you are what, 6'1", 6'2"?
6'2".
And your brother, 6 what?
Oh, he's like 6'4", 6'5", maybe.
You're like
Yeah,
giants in the Philippines. I'm
Yeah.
5'7", 5'8".
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you're like a basketball player height there. Could play basketball there.
And we're like well wider than like the average islander too. So we're like big and so
That's why I love hanging out with you guys. I feel very safe.
safe. Yeah,
I like 2 towers
we'll protect you.
who protect me.
We'll protect
Oh,
you.
you'll protect me. Yeah. Plus Jesus.
Yeah.
There you go. What an answer. Dude, before we finish, I just want to say thank you. It was October 2014 when I received a phone call from you. I was walking back home from school. I was an international student back then. I think I signed up and said I wanted to be part of the Connect group, and you're the first guy who called. It was October.
Yeah.
And then I was like, who's this Jarron guy? And at that time, I was still struggling to understand the accent. I'm like, he sounds Australian, but kind of not. And then I think I asked you about your background. Dude, that was like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
It's 10 years ago, so I can't really remember all the details. But yeah, I barely remember the whole conversation, but I remember the moment that I got a call from you, and we had, I think, maybe an hour phone call. And you just invited me to come to church and see the group. And you introduced me to the Connect group.
Yeah.
The good old days, like 20, 30 people in the Connect group.
So
And
many.
We hang out. Was it in Tuesday night or something?
Yeah.
To your house, someone's house. Food, just worshiping, and neighbors getting mad at us because like 1 a.m. we're still playing guitar and worshiping God. Powerhouse days.
We got the cops called on us.
Yeah.
That's how rowdy we were.
Yeah, we're rowdy.
Yeah.
That's probably how I would describe the type of Christian we are. We're the rowdy ones.
Yeah, we're loud.
Yeah. We're loud. We dance. We party in church.
We dance in car parks.
Yep. But that's worship. Jarron Rima, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.